Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I beat to Dr. Salwa. Today I am Aliza Nurina, represent my group as speaker to present and demonstrate our dashboard. I hope you enjoy our video and I appreciate your precious time to watch this video from us. The title of our data is Effect of COVID-19 on New Zealand's daily goods trade. The data about the New Zealand's daily goods trade is very useful as the sources to evaluate the impacts of COVID-19 on New Zealand's daily goods trade. This dataset is also a provisional secondary dataset that obtained from Stat NZ Totaranga, which is New Zealand's official data agency. There are three main objectives for our project, which are to investigate the trade trend for import, export and re-import based on two types of measure, which are dollar and tons. To identify the annual trade value for each region and country, hence determine who are New Zealand major trading partner countries. To investigate the relationship between the direction and transport mode, SITC, and determine the main SITC that New Zealand is trading for. All of these charts are being measured by two different currency, which is tons and dollar. In our dashboard, there are two pages, which is trend page and also trade value page. On the first page, it is mostly used to display trend between three trade activities, which is import, export and re-import. Page 1 illustrates the objective 1. Meanwhile, in page 2, we have trade value page, which in this page, on the top row, it represents the objective 2 and the bottom row represents objective 3. We also choose blue color as the color theme and we consistently use all blue color palette and tone in chart, graph and also the legends. Font that have been used is dark and white undertone. Our target user is Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, which is MFAT. This is because this party is continue to monitor how pandemic COVID-19 is affecting New Zealand, primarily in industries and businesses. The first page on the dashboard display the trade value by year, which is between 2015 until 2021. This is crucial to monitor the ups and downs of each year. The three trade activities that are being considered is import, export and also re-import. The next chart displays total trade by years within 7 years interval. It is to identify the total of trade involved for all countries and which year recorded the highest and smallest trade value. Next, we also use stack bar chart to illustrate the total trade value by year and month. The chart total trade value by year and month is to identify specifically details about the total trade that is involved in every month for 7 years. Furthermore, we also have a bubble chart to represent the trade value by year and region. This is important to recognize which region hit the better trading flow according to the 7 years involved. Additionally, we also prepared 100 stack bar chart to show trade value by country and region. This graph is built to identify which region have the highest trade value among 7 years operations. Next, we also have trade value by year and country measured by dollar and tons. This is to identify which country has the highest trade value in 7 years. Then, this trip map chart explains about trade value by direction and transport mode. This is to analyze the transport mode that usually being used for each of trade activity that contributed to the trade value. Next, we also have count of transport mode used measured by dollar and tons. It is to identify which transport mode that was used the most during the commodity traded process. Afterward, we also have a stack column chart to illustrate about trade value by transport mode and SITC. It is to identify which transport mode that was used the most during the commodity traded process. Lastly, we have trade value by SITC and commodity. This is to identify which commodity that was traded the most in dollar and tons currency. Moreover, we also created a quick filter that applies to the data on the dashboard to deliver new insight in an instant. As we can see, we have direction filter, year-month filter, and also quarter filter. Then, on the left-hand side, there is a filter to select the currency, which is dollar and tons. We simply click on it, it will display all the elements that related to the currency. For example, when I click on the tons filter, it will show only the export trade activity. This means that only export activity is involved using the TUN's currency. Next, for the trade value page, we also have region and country and individual country button. Those buttons also have been set with control instruction. For example, the button region and country have been used to navigate the chart for the trade value by region and country. By simply clicking on CTRL plus click here, the chart will appear immediately, which is here we use 100 stack bar chart to represent. Significant trend for our data is export and import by trade value. The stacked bar graph illustrates export trade value at 7 years intervals from 2015 to 2021 for 8 countries including Australia, China and Japan. From 2017 to 2020, the overall trend in all countries rose dramatically. Then, it is consumptious that the export rate for the year 2021 dropped drastically in this period. Next is photons measure. At the trends over time, the export trade value for all nations has increased significantly from 2015 to 2019, especially in China. Relatively, the overall trade value for this period increased by more than 50 millions. Unfortunately, starting from 2020 to 2021, all countries have slowed down their projection due to the pandemic Covid-19. Next, for import by trade value, it is only measured by dollar currency. There is an increased trend from 2016 to 2019. This shows that New Zealand is actively import the goods from these countries. However, there is a sudden fall of import trade value in 2020 to 2021. This fall is due to the COVID-19 pandemic that started in February 2020. First, for dollar measure, there is an increasing trend of total trade value from year 2016 to year 2019. In 2020, there is a decreasement of total trade value. This decreasement is due to the effect COVID-19, where the import and export activity are reducing around the world. Next, we take a look for measure in tons. There is a growing trend of total trade value from 2015 to 2019, but beginning from 2020, there is a decline trend of total trade value. Based on dollar measure, export contributes to the most elevated trade value from year 2015 to 2020. The trade value for export is increasing. Hence, we can say that New Zealand is consistently generating the revenue by exporting the goods to the other countries. Based on tons measure, export is the only direction that contributes to the trade. There is a consistent growth for trade value from year 2015 to the year 2019. However, there is decreasement for year 2020. This may happen because of COVID-19 outbreak that putting worldwide supply chain beneath pressure and disrupting trade.